The 1980s were packed with unforgettable snacks, flavors that turned lunchboxes into treasure troves and afternoons into adventures. From giant cookies to gooey treats, these snacks shaped a generation. Ready to rediscover the flavors you forgot? Let's dive in. Big League Chew was more than just gum. It was an essential part of playground culture in the 1980s. Packaged in its signature pouch, this shredded gum made every kid feel like a pro baseball player. Inspired by the chewing tobacco used in the major leagues, it offered a safer and kid-friendly alternative that captured the excitement of the game. The shredded texture wasn't just unique, it was fun. Digging into the pouch and grabbing a handful felt like a ritual, and the gum's soft, chewy consistency was perfect for blowing massive bubbles. Flavors like classic bubblegum and grape became instant favorites, filling the air with a sugary aroma that made every bite feel special. Created by two baseball players, Big League Chew wasn't just a snack. It was an experience tied to summer afternoons, scraped knees, and the thrill of sports. While still available today, for many, it's a nostalgic reminder of simpler times and playful childhood moments. In the 1980s, Dunkaroos turned snack time into a creative adventure. Each pack was a two-part masterpiece, crunchy cookies on one side and rich frosting on the other. The fun was in the choice. Did you lightly dip for just a hint of frosting or pile it on until the cookie disappeared? The vanilla sprinkle frosting quickly became a favorite, with its colorful flecks adding an extra layer of excitement. Chocolate frosting offered a decadent alternative, but the real joy was in the ritual. Dunkaroos weren't just a snack. They were a moment of indulgence and control, letting kids play with their food, guilt-free. Trading or sharing Dunkaroos in the lunchroom felt like trading gold, and saving the last cookie for the perfect frosting-to-cookie ratio became an art form. While they vanished from shelves in the early 2000s, Dunkaroos remain a symbol of carefree afternoons and the simple thrill of a perfectly frosted cookie. Planters Cheez Balls weren't just a snack, they were an experience waiting to happen. Pop open the signature blue canister, and you were instantly greeted by that unmistakable cheesy aroma, signaling that the fun was about to begin. But the real magic was in the flavor. Each ball was light and crunchy, melting in your mouth while leaving your fingers coated in bright orange dust, a telltale sign you'd been snacking. Perfect for family movie nights or road trips, these cheese balls had a way of bringing people together. Sharing them became part of the ritual, and no get-together was complete without a canister making the rounds. Though they disappeared for a while, their revival sparked waves of nostalgia. And while today's versions may satisfy the craving, nothing quite compares to the magic of those original canisters. Speaking of unforgettable snacks, let's talk about a drink that brought the supernatural straight to lunchboxes. Ecto Cooler wasn't just a juice, it was a cultural phenomenon. Introduced as a tie-in with the Ghostbusters franchise, this neon green drink was instantly recognizable, thanks to Slimer's grinning face on the packaging. For kids, just holding a box felt like stepping into the world of ghosts and ghouls. The citrusy flavor was tangy, refreshing, and unlike anything else on the shelf. But it was the bright green color that truly set it apart. It made drinking juice feel like an adventure, and for a generation raised on Ghostbusters, Ecto Cooler became an essential part of lunchboxes and after-school snacks. Even after the Ghostbusters hype faded, Ecto Cooler stuck around, proving it wasn't just a marketing gimmick. For many, the vivid green drink was pure childhood magic in a box. And while its rare comebacks spark excitement, some things can never quite capture the magic of the first time. But if drinks like Ecto Cooler were a hit, frozen treats were the real stars of summer. Jell-O Pudding Pops were the ultimate summer indulgence in the 1980s. Combining the creamy richness of pudding with the chill of a popsicle, they were a perfect mix of dessert and refreshment. Whether you preferred chocolate, vanilla, or the iconic swirl, there was a flavor for everyone. The texture was what truly made them stand out, smooth and custard-like. Each bite melted slowly, making them irresistibly satisfying. Wrapped in colorful packaging, they felt like a reward, especially after a long day of outdoor play. And their catchy commercials, starring beloved comedians, made every kid want to grab one from the freezer. Although they eventually disappeared from store shelves, Jell-O Pudding Pops remain one of the most nostalgic treats of the decade. Their creamy, cold magic is forever frozen in the memories of those who enjoyed them. And speaking of iconic snacks, let's not forget one that let you dunk your way to happiness. PB Max wasn't just a candy bar. It was a peanut butter lover's dream. With its thick layer of creamy peanut butter sitting atop a crunchy cookie base and coated in smooth milk chocolate, it offered a flavor that felt both indulgent and satisfying. What made it even more unique was the addition of oats, giving each bite a hearty crunch that set it apart from other candy bars of the time. But despite its immense popularity, PB Max mysteriously disappeared in the early 1990s. The rumored reason? The Mars family, who created it, reportedly didn't like peanut butter themselves and decided to pull it from shelves. For fans, the loss was devastating, especially since no other candy has quite managed to replicate the perfect combination of rich, nutty flavor and satisfying crunch. If PB Max ever made a comeback, would it still capture the hearts of candy lovers? For many, the answer is an emphatic yes. Do you remember a candy that felt as playful as it was delicious? Bonkers candy delivered a unique dual-layer experience. A chewy, fruity outer shell wrapped around a juicy, flavor-packed center. With bold options like grape, strawberry, and watermelon, each piece practically exploded with sweetness, making it a favorite among kids in the 1980s. But Bonkers wasn't just about flavor. It was about fun. The commercials were unforgettable, featuring oversized fruits hilariously falling from the sky and bonking people on the head. This quirky marketing turned the candy into more than a snack. It became a cultural icon that embodied the playful, over-the-top energy of the 80s. Despite its eventual disappearance from store shelves, Bonkers left a lasting impression on those who grew up with its bold flavors and wacky charm. Would it still stand out today, or was it perfectly suited to its time? What if you could wake up to the taste of freshly made waffles every morning? Waffle Crisp cereal turned that idea into a reality, transforming breakfast into a celebration of syrupy goodness. Each piece resembled a tiny golden waffle, complete with grid marks, and was infused with the rich flavor of maple syrup. The magic didn't stop there. Waffle Crisp's crunchy texture held up perfectly in milk, making every spoonful as satisfying as the first. And the aroma? The moment you opened the box, the sweet, warm scent of syrup filled the air, turning an ordinary morning into something special. For kids, it was more than just cereal. It was a reason to get excited about breakfast. Whether eaten at the table or straight out of the box as a snack, Waffle Crisp became a staple for its playful design and sugary appeal. Though it's no longer on shelves, its legacy remains as sweet as ever. The Marathon Bar was a candy like no other, remembered for its unique braided design and impressive 8-inch length. Coated in smooth milk chocolate, its chewy caramel interior made it an iconic treat of the 1980s. But this wasn't a candy you could eat quickly. It required time, effort, and patience. The caramel stretched with every bite, clinging to your teeth and making snack time feel like a sweet challenge. The bright red wrapper added to its playful image, featuring a printed ruler that highlighted the bar's incredible length. Kids loved comparing it to other candy bars, knowing that the Marathon wasn't just delicious, it lasted longer than most, giving them more bang for their buck. Though it disappeared from store shelves by the late 1980s, its legacy lives on for those who remember the joy of taking on its chewy challenge. It wasn't just a snack, it was an experience that left a lasting impression. Whatchamacallit wasn't just a candy bar, it was a celebration of flavors and textures. Combining crispy rice, gooey caramel, and smooth milk chocolate, it offered a bite that was both light and satisfying. Released in the late 1970s and gaining popularity throughout the 1980s, it became a favorite for its unique recipe and memorable branding. The crispy rice gave it a subtle crunch, the caramel added a chewy sweetness, and the chocolate brought it all together into one cohesive bite. But what really made Whatchamacallit stand out was its quirky name. The playful branding leaned into the humor, with commercials that made the name part of the fun. If someone couldn't quite remember it, the answer was always built into the question, whatchamacallit? For those lucky enough to try it, this candy bar wasn't just tasty, it was fun, creative, and unforgettable. It was the kind of snack that sparked conversations and left a lasting impression. Keebler Magic Middles were cookies with a secret, a delicious surprise waiting inside. At first glance, they looked like classic shortbread cookies, golden, crumbly, and buttery. But the real treat was hidden within. Bite into one, and you'd find a rich, gooey center filled with either creamy chocolate or smooth caramel. This unexpected combination made Magic Middles feel more like a dessert than a cookie. The crisp exterior balanced perfectly with the soft filling, creating a snack that was indulgent without being overly sweet. They quickly became a favorite for kids, often saved for the end of a lunchbox as the ultimate treat to savor. Despite their popularity, Magic Middles disappeared from shelves, leaving fans wondering why such a beloved snack was discontinued. For those who remember, these cookies weren't just tasty. They were a nostalgic reminder of simple joys and the magic of finding something special in every bite. Oreo Big Stuff was a cookie that lived up to its name. Released in the mid-1980s, this oversized version of the classic Oreo transformed a snack into a dessert. Nearly the size of a palm, each Big Stuff cookie was individually wrapped, making it feel like a special indulgence rather than just another treat. The larger proportions amplified everything fans loved about the original Oreo. The thick, creamy filling paired with the familiar chocolate cookie layers made each bite richer and more satisfying. For kids, Oreo Big Stuff wasn't just a cookie, it was a reward, often saved for the highlight of the day or a special occasion. Though it vanished from store shelves in the early 1990s, Oreo Big Stuff remains a cherished memory for those who experienced its oversized magic. It wasn't just a snack, it was a larger-than-life take on a beloved classic, and one fans still miss today. Fruit Wrinkles were a snack that embraced their quirky, wrinkled appearance and packed a fruity punch. These bite-sized treats had a unique texture that resembled tiny, shrunken pieces of real fruit, giving them a fun, homemade feel. Flavors like strawberry, cherry, and grape made them a hit, delivering a sweet and satisfying chew in every bite. Their sticky texture made them nearly impossible to eat without getting your fingers a little messy, adding to the playful experience. Parents appreciated the marketing spin of Fruit Wrinkles as a healthy option, with the suggestion that they were made from real fruit, which made them a favorite addition to lunchboxes. Though they quietly faded from shelves in the early 1990s, Fruit Wrinkles remain a sweet memory for those who loved their fruity charm. But while these snacks were fun to eat, one cookie literally smiled back at you. Giggles Cookies brought laughter to snack time with their playful design. Each cookie featured a smiling face on the front, turning a simple treat into something that felt almost alive. Kids loved the cheerful faces that grinned back at them, adding a layer of fun before the first bite. The inside of these cookies was just as exciting. A creamy, dual-layer filling of vanilla and chocolate provided a perfect balance of flavors, while the crisp cookie exterior delivered a satisfying crunch. Whether they were shared with friends or saved as a personal reward, Giggles Cookies always felt like a special treat. Although they disappeared from store shelves, the combination of their whimsical design and delicious filling left a lasting impression. For anyone who grew up with them, Giggles Cookies remain a sweet memory of snack time filled with smiles. Speaking of playground favorites, let's talk about a gum that turned bubble blowing into a competition. Hubba Bubba became iconic for its thick, juicy texture and its ability to blow massive bubbles. Unlike many gums of the time, it had a soft chew that made bubble blowing effortless and fun. Kids loved the challenge of seeing just how big they could make their bubbles before they popped. Flavors like classic bubblegum, grape, and watermelon delivered bursts of sweetness that lasted longer than most competitors, making Hubba Bubba a favorite on playgrounds and at school. Its soft texture also meant it was less likely to stick to your face if a bubble burst, making it even more popular among kids who loved to compete for the biggest bubble. Hubba Bubba's quirky commercials only added to its charm, encouraging bubble-blowing contests and playful rivalries. Today, it remains a nostalgic favorite for those who fondly remember its juicy flavors and bubble-popping fun. But if gum was about play, some drinks turned hydration into an interactive experience. Squeeze-It turned drinking juice into an adventure. These colorful fruit-flavored drinks came in squeezable plastic bottles, designed to make snack time interactive and exciting. Kids would twist off the top and squeeze the bottle, watching the juice squirt out as they enjoyed every fruity sip. Flavors like cherry berry and tropical punch weren't just tasty. They were vibrant and bold, perfectly matching the fun design of the packaging. The bright neon colors of the drinks made them even more appealing, turning an ordinary beverage into something kids couldn't wait to grab from their lunchboxes. The playful design and strong flavors made Squeeze-It a hit, and swapping bottles to try different flavors became a common activity at school. Though the drinks eventually disappeared, they remain a beloved memory for those who grew up squeezing every last drop from the bottle. Hostess Choco Bliss was pure decadence in snack form. Layers of moist chocolate cake, creamy filling, and glossy frosting made it a treat that felt closer to dessert than a simple snack. Released in the 1980s, it quickly became a favorite for chocolate lovers everywhere. The rich chocolate cake provided a dense, fudgy texture that was perfectly balanced by the smooth, sweet filling. What set Choco Bliss apart was its thick frosting, which coated the top like a luxurious finishing touch. Unlike other Hostess snacks, which often had contrasting flavors or textures, Choco Bliss committed fully to its chocolate-forward design. For fans, each bite felt like an indulgence, whether it was packed in a lunchbox or saved for a special treat at home. Although it disappeared from shelves, Choco Bliss remains a nostalgic favorite for anyone who enjoyed its layered richness. But when busy mornings demanded something both quick and chocolatey, another classic stepped in. Did breakfast ever feel more exciting than with Carnation breakfast bars? These chocolate-covered bars were designed as a convenient meal option, blending the practicality of oats with the indulgence of sweet flavors like chocolate chip and peanut butter. For kids, they felt like sneaking dessert for breakfast, while parents appreciated their grab-and-go convenience. Wrapped in shiny foil, these bars made rushed mornings easier. Their texture was a satisfying mix of slightly gritty grains and smooth chocolate, creating a balance that felt both wholesome and indulgent. Whether eaten on the way to school or as a quick snack between activities, Carnation breakfast bars became a staple for busy families. Though they eventually disappeared, Carnation breakfast bars left behind a legacy of nostalgia. For those who grew up enjoying them, they were more than just a breakfast option. They were a moment of sweetness in otherwise hectic mornings. Bar None brought a sense of sophistication to the candy aisle. Released by Hershey's in the late 1980s, this multi-layered treat combined crispy chocolate wafers, creamy chocolate filling, and a hint of crushed peanuts, all coated in smooth milk chocolate. It wasn't just candy, it was an elevated snacking experience. Each bite offered a perfect balance: the light crunch of the wafers, the velvety filling, and the subtle nuttiness from the peanuts. The chocolate coating tied everything together, creating a bar that stood out among its peers. Bar None appealed to those looking for something more refined than the usual candy options. Despite its devoted fan base, Bar None was quietly discontinued in the 1990s, leaving many craving its rich, layered flavor. For those lucky enough to have tried it, Bar None wasn't just a treat. It was a standout experience that remains unmatched. Speaking of standout treats, the next one turned milk into a candy-inspired delight. What if you could turn plain milk into a sweet, dessert-like treat? Nestle Quick Strawberry Powder transformed ordinary milk into a vibrant pink drink that tasted as fun as it looked. For kids, it was more than just a beverage. It was an experience. Mixing the powder was half the fun. A few scoops stirred into milk created a colorful swirl of pink that smelled fruity and sweet. The taste was just as exciting, with a candy-like strawberry flavor that turned even the most ordinary glass of milk into a special treat. Some kids even ate the powder straight from the container, proof of its irresistible charm. Though still available in some places, it no longer holds the iconic status it once had. For those who grew up with it, Nestle Quick Strawberry Powder was more than just a drink. It was a burst of joy in every glass, turning milk into something magical. Ovaltine Chocolate Malt Mix wasn't just a drink, it was an event. A few spoonfuls stirred into milk turned an ordinary glass into a rich, malty treat that felt both indulgent and nourishing. While other chocolate drink mixes focused solely on sweetness, Ovaltine's unique malt flavor gave it a depth that set it apart. Marketed as a nutritious option, Ovaltine became a go-to for parents looking for something tasty and packed with vitamins. It was versatile too. Served warm, it was the perfect comforting drink for chilly mornings or bedtime, and served cold, it was a refreshing after-school pick-me-up. The nostalgic jingle from its commercials helped cement its place in 1980s kitchens everywhere. Though newer drink powders gained popularity, Ovaltine retains its nostalgic charm for those who grew up savoring its unique flavor. But for a snack that brought colorful fun to movie nights, popcorn was the next level of excitement. Popcorn isn't usually colorful, but Pop Quiz popcorn changed that in the 1980s. This microwave snack turned every movie night into a surprise with kernels that popped into bright, unexpected hues like blue, red, and green. The idea was simple yet exciting. Kids loved guessing what color their bowl of popcorn would turn out to be. Despite the vibrant shades, the flavor stayed true to buttery, salty popcorn, making it a hit with both kids and parents. It wasn't just about eating. It was about the experience of something playful and unexpected. From slumber parties to family movie nights, Pop Quiz popcorn added a touch of whimsy, that turned ordinary evenings into special memories. Though it eventually disappeared from store shelves, it left a lasting impression for those who grew up with its colorful kernels. For the ultimate twist on a classic treat, however, the next snack gave an iconic favorite a decadent upgrade. What happens when you take a classic and make it even richer? Twinkies with chocolate filling answered that question in the 1980s, replacing the traditional vanilla cream with a creamy, chocolatey center. It was still the same soft, fluffy sponge cake that fans loved, but the chocolate filling gave it a whole new personality. This version of Twinkies wasn't just a snack, it felt like an indulgence. The creamy chocolate balanced perfectly with the light golden cake, creating a treat that quickly became a hit in lunchboxes and after-school routines. Kids loved it for the surprise factor, while adults appreciated its bold twist on a classic favorite. Though it was discontinued, Twinkies with chocolate filling remains a nostalgic gem for anyone lucky enough to have enjoyed its rich, decadent flavor. For those who remember, it wasn't just a treat, it was a chocolate twist on an American icon. Thanks for joining this trip down memory lane. Which of these snacks do you miss most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more nostalgic favorites.